Today we're going to talk about the 4 mindfulness. Buddha teaches to be mindful of our body, feelings, mind, and dharma. Before we go into the mindfulness, let's first talk about the 4 noble truths, Buddha's basic dharma wheel. First, we should know that we are going through suffering right now because we are still in samsara, we are still reincarnating. So that is the result of our life right now. We have our causes of suffering. What is causing our reincarnation is not other people, it's our own afflictions, our greed, anger, and ignorance that's causing the samsara. We learn Buddhism so we can reach the cessation of suffering. There should be no more reincarnation and we can reach nirvana. Number 4, the path to end suffering. So this 4 mindfulness is a path to end suffering. We are suffering because we have these 4 upside down views about these 4 fundamentals. First, we think our body is pure. That's why we love our body. We take care of it. We want it to be beautiful and healthy. But Buddha teaches us to be mindful that our body is impure. Everything that comes out of our body is dirty, including our mucus, our saliva, our urine, our feces. Nothing comes out of our body is pure. If we know it's impure, we won't be so attached to it, and we can let go our attachment to the body. Our second view is we think our feelings is all happiness. Everything that we're pursuing in the world, we think will make us happy. But know that all happiness is condition arising. When it ends, it's no longer happiness, it becomes suffering. So the reality is that all feelings are suffering. We should let go of our upside down view that the feeling is blissfulness. Number 3, we are attached to our mind. We think our mind is permanent. The thing that's on our mind right now, we think is such a big deal. It's worrying us and we're feeling this anxiety. Everything is so real, but our mind is really impermanent. Number 4, the object of our mind, we call it the dharma, all worldly things. We think there is a selfhood. We think there is a me, there's an ego that is controlling everything. These 4 are the upside down views about our body, feelings, mind, and dharma. That's why Buddha teaches us to have 4 mindfulness to end the suffering by contemplating on the reality, which are the opposite from the upside down view. During meditation and during everyday life, see clearly the reality. Everything is impure, suffering, impermanent, and non-self. Then we will reach enlightenment and we will cease all sufferings. This is the basic 4 mindfulness according to the 4 noble truths. According to the Tiantai Buddhism of Master Zhi Yi, he categorized all Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching into 4 doctrines of conversion. Number 1 is the Tripitaka teaching. That's the Theravada Buddhism, which focus on getting out of the suffering by practicing this basic 4 mindfulness from samsara to nirvana. So they focus all their attention on getting rid of their defilements and their 4 upside down views. So this is called the rising and ceasing 4 noble truths. Samsara and nirvana are very real. In this case, it's really rising and really ceasing to the Theravada Buddhists. However, number 2, common teaching. This common means common to the Theravada Buddhism and common to the Mahayana Buddhism. There's actually a common teaching which is prajna of emptiness. Emptiness is the reality because samsara and nirvana are actually the same. They are both empty in nature. There is no self-nature to samsara or nirvana. Both are like in a dream. One is a nightmare, one is a good dream. That's all. When you practice the four mindfulness, stand in the point of view of the emptiness of all things, it becomes easier. It's like your ego. You see the big picture, and when you practice in this world, it's much easier to get rid of your defilement. So it's called the non-arising Four Noble Truths. There is no real samsara, real nirvana. Everything is emptiness. We should see the truth. Nothing really arises, nothing really ceases. It's all conditioned, and that is all. Number 3 is distinctive teaching. This is specially tailored toward bodhisattvas. They practice to save and deliver all sentient beings. They have the strong bodhi resolve to help all sentient beings out of reincarnation. So the Four Noble Truths is called immeasurable Four Noble Truths. All sentient beings in the 10 Dharma realms, everyone has their suffering. They have their different body, mind, and Dharma. So we respect everybody's differences, and we use the suffering of this lifetime to transform ourselves into a bodhisattva and to benefit all sentient beings. If our body is sick, we do not dwell on it. We think, oh, because of my sickness, I really feel the pain of all sentient beings. I wish all sentient beings would be free from sickness. So we're using this impurity of the body to become a bodhisattva. When we are experiencing different kinds of sufferings and obstacles, we use the suffering and change our mind. Our mind can create a different world if we just appreciate and be thankful. We can change the situation, use this challenge to develop our leadership skill, to change the situation for the better. So a bodhisattva is always using the sufferings of this lifetime to develop even further, to practice their 6 paramitas. They also know the impermanence of their mind. Because the mind is impermanent, we can change it, so we think like a Buddha. We do everything like a Buddha because it's impermanent. That means we can change our thinking from a mundane person that is always stressed or having a lot of craving into a real bodhisattva that is always having the heart of the Dharma. A bodhisattva will see that everything in the world, there is not a self. Instead, they think everybody, all the Dharma realm is me. We are actually one in this world together. There is nothing better than feeling the oneness of the entire universe. Bodhisattva, they have immeasurable heart. They love all sentient beings, and they use this body, feeling, mind, and Dharma to cultivate into a real bodhisattva. Number 4 is the complete teaching. This is the second enlightenment teaching. Complete means we are all complete. The mind is the Buddha. We should have faith that we are exactly the same as all achieved Buddha, even though we have a lot of upside down views right now, but these can all be changed in one instant when we awaken. To know illusion is to depart from it. To depart from illusion is to be enlightened. Just one instant that we awaken to our true nature. We are really the Buddha. There is no suffering to end because samsara is the same as nirvana in our Buddha nature. And there is no affliction to eradicate because all afflictions are in nature the same as Bodhi. So when you have this type of wisdom, understanding that you are truly the mind of the Buddha, you have infinite potential. Every breath, even though it's impure, is the Buddha. that is breathing. Even though there is suffering, but suffering is nirvana. Even though my mind is impermanent, it has an eternal nature that never changes or moves. When we get rid of our ego, that's our true nature, the Buddha that's full of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. When a person really knows his true nature, there's nothing that is of any obstruction. There is no more resistance in his or her life. So that is the complete teaching, which is called the non-doing Four Noble Truths. Non-doing because you are already the Buddha. You don't need to cultivate the four mindfulness so hard because you already know they are the same. All you have to do is wake up and know that you have the true nature. Lastly, I would like to share a story. There is a village of 500 monkeys. 499 monkeys all have only one eye. Only one monkey has two eyes. Everybody think he is a weirdo and despise him, make fun of him, so he grew up very depressed and have low self-esteem. But one day he decided to leave the village. Once he left the village, he went into the forest. Much to his surprise, he saw other monkeys. All the other monkeys have two eyes. Then he's like, so I'm not the weird one, I'm actually normal. After he realized that, he becomes so happy and he lived happily ever after. We all have two eyes. That means we all have the Buddha nature. Our mind is the Buddha. There is actually no upside down view. There's no samsara that is hurting us right now. All we have to do is to wake up and know our true nature. Then we live happily ever after. That is the complete and perfect teaching. Buddha wants us to reach this level of wisdom. Whatever you practice, you will succeed in your practice. So even with this complete teaching, you are still doing the fundamental for mindfulness. It's not that you don't have to cultivate anymore. It's just that you start at the highest point. Your starting point is you are the Buddha. So that is the fastest and the quickest way to reach enlightenment. So that's the class for today. Thank you for listening. Amitabha.